Hi, we're going to be doing our anchor chart today on our lesson, which will be about measurement. So if you haven't already gotten out your paper and pencil, if you want to use pen, of course you can use pen, or you can color it in afterwards, or you don't have to. It's totally optional. But we're going to be talking about measurement today. And we're going to also be talking about some of the types of measurement that we use in our everyday life. And then after we're done with our lesson, you guys will have a worksheet to do that's connected to your math lesson, topic 14, lesson 1. So let's go through the 4 main parts of measurement that I want us to learn. And the first one is inches. And inches can be always abbreviated IN period, because it's an abbreviation, so make sure you have your period. For example, if you are measuring a paperclip, you would measure it in inches. If you were measuring your fingers, you would measure them, there you go, in inches, fingers. If you were measuring a fork, you would measure it in inches. And finally, if you were measuring a pencil, you would measure it in inches. So if we were to look on a ruler, and if you have a ruler, you could get it out right now. There are 12 inches on most rulers. So 1 inch would be about here. Get a red pen, there you go. So it would be about there. All right, so that's one type of measurement, which is inches. The other type of measurement that I want us to learn today would be feet. And the abbreviation for feet would be FT, and you guessed it, period, because it's an abbreviation. So if we are measuring the height of a person, so think about 5th graders when you guys went in to get your height measured from Miss Jackie a month ago. She was measuring you first in feet, and then she added on some inches. But most of all, it would be feet. And then another object that would be measured in feet would be a door. You would want to know about how high is the door. You wouldn't say it in inches per se, but you would say it in feet. And finally, you would actually, since textbooks are so large, you could actually measure a textbook in feet. It would only be about 1 or 2 feet, but that would be some different parts. So inches are the smallest, and then we get to feet, and then we get to yards. So yards are a little bit larger. So if you're saying, well, how long is it? How far is it? And our abbreviation, YD, you guessed it, period. So say, for example, football, which pretty soon we'll get to watch again, but 50-yard line. Have you heard that? Yard line. So a football field, you could measure in yards. You could also measure, picture my, in room 11, my teacher desk or Mrs. B's desk. You could measure that in yards. It's a little larger than yours. You could picture the length of a car in yards. Do our little window there. So a car. So those are all different examples. So inches, getting a little bit bigger, feet, and then yards. And then finally, the last thing we're going to learn would be if you were to measure something in miles. So now we're getting a little bit, let me find a better pen. I left my good smelly pens in our class. So mile, M-I, and you guessed it, period, because it's a what? Abbreviation. So if you are measuring something in miles, it could be maybe if you're doing a running activity and you say, oh, how far did you run? A runner would say, oh, I ran 3 miles today. I ran, 10 miles today. They're going to measure how far they went in miles. Another one you could measure in miles would be if you're going on maybe a trip in a car or a plane. I did the 2 states, Nevada, and then say I'm driving to Oklahoma. Always looks like a pan. They call it the panhandle state because it looks like you're holding a pan. So if you're traveling and you'd say, oh, to get to Nevada to Oklahoma, it's so many miles. Or in a couple months, we could say, well, how far is your home to school? And we could measure that in miles. So just to repeat, measurement comes in inches, feet, yards, or miles. So if you need to replay this one more time to finish up yours, please do. And then you are going to go back onto Google Classroom. You're going to find the assignment, topic 14-1, and you are going to complete it. All right, great job, you guys.